Hello, welcome to Retro Cheese Review, where I force my friends and family to review cheesy movies from my childhood. With me today again is Rob. Rob, say hi to everyone.
Hello.
And
Ahoy.
yeah, usually Rob will be. You've probably seen him doing, our bad anime reviews or drunkenly drinking nacho cheese. But today we'll be reviewing Weekend at Bernie's 2, because the first one wasn't quite cheesy enough, so we had to do the sequel. So first, I'm gonna pop in to our nostalgia review when we first watched this movie. For me, I'm gonna say, like, even as a kid, like, this movie came out in '93, so I was a fairly little kid. Loved Weekend at Bernie's. Thought it was, it was probably a little bit above my head because it was a mature movie. Weekend at Bernie's 2, even as a child, I was like, wow, Hollywood's just trying to milk this gag for more money. Still loved it. Thought it was stupid as hell, but thought it was funny. Like little kid just staring at the screen. Haha, look at the dead guy dancing. So as a kid, I would have given it like a 4 out of 5. How about you, Rob? What's your nostalgia review of this movie?
Um, all I could think of is why isn't there rotting flesh at that point? Because this is the second movie, and it's been a couple of weeks between movies.
Yeah.
When the coroner
Or like 5 years between movies in real time, but yeah.
yeah, but who's counting?
Yeah, they took several years to make the sequel. The first one was '89, the second one was '93. So like what math? 4 years, 5 years? I don't know. But what was your rating, like, out of 5 as a kid?
As a kid, I would have to give it like 2.5. Even as a kid, I realized this was not a good movie.
Yeah,
Especially the whole voodoo thing, I thought was stupid as a kid.
that's completely fair. I will say, like, the original Weekend at Bernie's, I would give like a 4.5, so slightly higher. I still loved dumb, crappy sequels as a child. I knew what they were, but I still loved them.
It's still real to me, damn it!
You'll see today that we're wearing sunglasses in honor of Bernie, because he always has those iconic sunglasses so that you can't tell he's dead. Hawaiian shirts, despite it not taking place in Hawaii. It takes place in the Virgin Islands, Rob.
Although what I find funny is the main character, when they get to the hotel, is saying aloha
Yeah,
because America.
I think they forgot that it wasn't taking place in Hawaii. Like, the first one's Northern California. Like, it's this one, the start of it's in New York, and then suddenly they're in the Virgin Islands. It's just tropical, you know. The big theme of this movie, that to make it, let's find some more slapstick, was voodoo. So, Rob, you're drinking a zombie today, I believe?
I am drinking a zombie today.
Okay.
It has 17 parts to make this. It's a
You gotta hold up the glass a little bit more.
with
There we go.
3 different types of rum. A
Yeah.
light rum, a golden rum, and a 151.
And halfway through this, we'll take a little bit of a break. It's Rob's idea to show, Rob making
Oh,
the
that went
zombie,
quickly.
and in honor of the voodoo in this movie, Rob will be making it. So, diving right in, this movie was made in 1993. The original movie was made in '89. Both of them. The first one was rated PG-13. This one got a drop in the rating to PG. I have no idea how it had a PG rating. Kind of surprised, because there are naked boobs. I guess in '93 they could get away with that with a PG rating. It had a 10% tomato score from the critics and a 41 audience score. As bad as the movie was, as cheesy as it was, I feel like 10% is really undeserved. Like, come on. Like, 10%, like, there are really bad movies that have, like, at least a 40%. And especially considering the first movie had a 54 and a 57. I don't get that either. Now, thinking about this movie, the entire plot of the first movie is essentially their boss dies and they're trying to convince everyone he's still alive. The greatest actor in that movie is the guy who plays Bernie, and he's just dead the whole time. And then the second movie, Hollywood was like, well, fuck, how can we milk this again? So voodoo. There's voodoo that brings the body alive. Like, that's like, how can we keep this gag going? And the gag going is voodoo that makes Bernie, wake up and dance around and shit.
Well, it was the music technically because they screwed up the voodoo ritual of not having a chicken, but they had a pigeon.
Yeah, they
That was
lost.
the whole thing.
Yeah, during the voodoo ritual, they lose the chicken, and it goes into like what's clearly a porno theater. And they find a chicken, but the guy's like, "No, I came in here with this chicken." Really fucking weird. And they're like, well, where are we going to get a chicken in New York? And they grab a pigeon, and that screws up the whole ritual. Yeah, and getting into that, the first one has, the two main characters who are already cartoonish, like Looney Tunes level idiots. They decided to add in this one two more characters that are bad guys that are even more like Looney Tune level. Like, if you've seen South Park, and I know they're making fun of other characters, but there's the Nimsy, and it's the same, like, it's that level of like, shut up, Nimsy, like.
I don't think he's playing the right note, boss. The C4 ain't gonna go off. Shut up, Mimsy.
The two main bad guys are just constantly screwing up. So, like, in the first one, they're just trying to pretend that Bernie's alive to get money and keep their job, some shit, to keep their promotion. Yeah.
Even the guy trying to catch the two main characters, Richard and every early 90s character is screwing up.
Yeah, no, they're all terrible. Well, in the two main... so this one, what they're trying to do is, like, find Bernie's treasure or some shit that he stole. He's got, like, $2 million he stole from the company. And they fire the two main characters from their jobs so that they'll be like, now that they're fired, they just assume that because they were with Bernie when he was dead, that, like, they're gonna know where it is. And these two villains, they're in the Virgin Islands. They're visiting, like, a voodoo festival. I don't know why. Maybe I was...
Oh, no, it was Carnival, if you
It was
remember.
Carnival. Well, like,
Yeah.
the voodoo witch doctor, like, takes over their mind and uses them to be like, now you're gonna go, like, do this voodoo ritual, and Bernie will lead you to, his money for the cartel or some shit. So, like, you've got these idiots doing a voodoo ritual. They screw it up. And then the body gets lost a bunch, and eventually it ends up back in the morgue, and the two main characters, like, kidnap it from the morgue, put it in a suitcase, and just fly the fuck to the Virgin Islands, so that they can...
Oh, it's so heavy.
Well, 'cause
they have a body in it.
They know he had a lockbox, and their thought is, well, we can just pretend that, like, he's alive like we did before. And, I've been forging Bernie's signature and using his credit card anyway. Like, such a piece of shit. And, like, the one blonde dude, and the other guy, you're supposed to think he's nice, because he's like, well, I don't think we should do this, whatever your fucking name is, because I don't...
He reminds me of Ross from Friends.
He does remind me of Ross. He reminds me a little too much of myself, too.
He's really a douchebag.
Because that's the kind of shit that, like, if you were trying to get me to, like, steal money from a dead guy, I'd be like, well, that's a bad idea, Rob. That would totally fucking be me.
Ah, shut up, Mimsy.
Shut up, Mimsy.
But, so he just goes along with it. The only thing you're mentioning the rotting flesh, they spray Bernie down with deodorant, like spray deodorant, because they're like, well, that'll cover up, this rotting dead guy that was in Northern California with us pretending he was alive for a whole fucking week.
Yeah, and shove him in a mini fridge. I don't know any, average size grown male adult that could, even if you crunch up the limbs, can fit into a mini fridge.
Yeah, no, that's completely accurate. And your camera's a little bit frozen, by the way. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we'll continue going through this review. So, essentially, what you might do, by the way, Rob, which we can edit this out and whatnot. You might close out and rejoin.
Okay, do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, close out and
Can't
rejoin.
keep me moving? Okay.
Bed goes up, bed goes down, 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 bed goes up.
hear me?
Yeah,
bed
you're
goes
back.
down,
Okay,
bed
I'll just have
goes up.
Felicia edit that part out, or not. Who cares? But getting into like the plot again, like they've got him in the mini fridge and everything. The bad guys follow them to the Virgin Islands, and also on top of the bad guys following them to the Virgin Islands, the one of the members of the board, on the company that's after the money that Bernie stole, he follows them. One of the characters, the douchebag, meets up with some chick and tries to go on a date with her. She's super into voodoo for some reason, and he makes fun of it. So she's like, "Well, get the fuck out of my house. I don't want to deal with that." And meanwhile, Bernie gets awoken to music and joins a conga line, gets into a fist fight with some muscle dude.
No, Brenna, get
Don't
back
pay
here!
any attention to him.
You're not going anywhere!
Oh, yeah? Who says so?
I do!
What are you doing? Stop it! See, Arnold, he's not afraid of you.
It's the stupidest shit ever. Again,
part,
let's
the
milk
best
this.
scene.
Yeah, the best scene. Like this muscle dude is like hitting him, and he's like flipping around and smacking him. The corpses, and like the best thing is when he's doing the music, when he's like flat on his face, his butt's like wiggling first to get up. It's hilarious. So they're looking for, like, the main characters are looking for where the hell the corpse ended up because they don't even know that music wakes him up. And they find him laying with some chick on a beach. It's a callback to the fact that, like, in the first movie, they're trying to figure out where his corpse is, and it's with his girlfriend who's like, he was the best lover he's ever been. Like, it's a complete callback to that.
Oh yeah. So, going back to, his face being planted into the ground, but his hips moving and stuff like that. I feel like it's the first turned down for what,
Yeah, he was twerking a bit. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. In the 90s, the first person to twerk was Bernie in 93.
You've heard it. Weekend at Bernie's 2 invented twerking.
Or Weekend at Bernie's 2 in 93.
Specifically. Yeah, 1993. Twerking was invented by the guy who played Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's 2. So yeah, like they get into that. The bad guys are trying, like, at one point they find the corpse and get him, and the guys steal it back. There's a bunch of other hijinks. Stupid shit ensues. Eventually they get captured by the cartel, the two, I don't want to say them good guys, the two protagonists, because they're still pieces of shit. They are
There's no one
tremendous.
good
pieces.
in the movie. Let's be honest.
Maybe the one chick who's into voodoo is kind of okay. Like she's just wants to help them, She's not a bad guy, and her dad's not a bad guy. He's a doctor. But, like, they get captured, taken to the cartel, and they're like, we don't know where Bernie's money is, So they literally, the one guy, the Ross, gets poisoned, and they're like, well, if you don't find it, you'll die in, like, a day or some shit. Meanwhile, like, they didn't even say this, but, like, whatever voodoo curse the chick put on, like, the witch doctor put on the two bad guys, the, cartel, henchmen, is turning, like, they're starting to, like, bay a lot like goats. And, like, they're like, one of them's like, hey, you see that hot chick over there? And he's looking at a goat. So they never even said initially that was a thing, but apparently, like, they're going to turn into goats. Like, they're starting to hint at that.
Yeah. They didn't even say anything bad to the voodoo witch. But if you remember at the beginning of the movie, they were the one guy was like, this is the one person that had something to say bad to them. So, you've got the Pinocchio kind of thing going on with these two evil villains.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's bizarre. The whole witch doctor voodoo thing was just a bizarre addition to be like, that the whole movie was written because someone in a boardroom was like, well, what if we do a sequel to Weekend at Bernie's? And it's like, that movie came out years ago. How would we make it funny? And they're like, well, we need some fucking way to make the corpse dance so that it's not just it's not just another hour and a half of these two guys trying to make the corpse look alive. Because that was the entire first movie, was an hour and a half of the two guys trying to like pretend that this dead guy's alive. But now there's voodoo, so he dances on his own with music. So that's like, well, that's another hour and a half that we can slap on this shit and make $10 million off of, or however much it made. Because it was a wild success. Movies like this sold like fucking great in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, you had it was like a Naked Gun, call back to Airplane, movies like that. This movie was not a good movie at any stretch of the imagination, but what it did was it was inspiration for a lot of other things.
Yeah. No, and I stand by the fact that the guy who played Bernie was a damn good actor. The fact that he could just lay still, twitch around, I don't know, like, that actually is some fucking talent. He's hilarious in the way he moves. The comic timing is perfect. And getting even more into the plot, we get to, this scene because they're trying really hard to find where the money is. They find the money. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention that, the one guy who's not really a bad guy, he's the one that fired him to find the money that, Bernie stole. So if you think about it, he's just doing his job. He's having, a nervous breakdown because he saw Bernie. They tell him to relax a little bit because he's like, Bernie's dead. It can't be him. And he's on a submarine tour, and he sees fucking Bernie in the water dancing around and shit, trying to get to the money, because they've put headphones on him and had him go underwater. That was Rob leaving for a second because of his asshole pug.
You like ballet?
Marjorie, please! I enjoy all the meats of our cultural stew. Ah, ballet. All right! Woohoo! Yay! Yeah!
Okay, there you go. So, it's okay. So what we were talking about, again, so basically you've got, the guy had a nervous breakdown because he saw his dead boss, on this island while he's searching for the money. The cops and everything tell him to just relax a little bit, have some fun. He goes on a submarine tour, and he fucking sees Bernie walking around at the bottom of the ocean. Dumbest shit ever. But Bernie finds the treasure. This poor guy has a nervous breakdown. Bernie then gets slapstick style shot in the head with a fucking harpoon, which stops the music. They're using headphones at this point to make him walk, but he's got his lockbox. They're all in a hurry because the one guy's gonna die from the poisoning, and they go up to this horse carriage, and when they see that Bernie has the harpoon in his head, and it literally looks like when you those old-fashioned little headbands with the arrows, it looks so fucking stupid. So they go up, the guy, all the tourists get out of the horse carriage thing and just take off fucking running. The guy who's running it jumps on his horse and rides away, super quick. So they're like, well, how are we going to do the carriage? And this just leads to a cut of, Bernie with the headphones on in his treasure chest, pulling the carriage. And they don't even try to make it look realistic. He's, up in the air but somehow he's making it go. This, leads to, a whole police chase because they're going downhill. Police arrive, all that shit. They get to the voodoo lady. I think they run her ass over or some shit. She dies. The voodoo witch doctor dies. The one chick who's into voodoo, her dad shows up and cures the one guy. Meanwhile, blonde douchebag opens up the treasure chest and figures out that there's 3 million instead of 2 million and stashes away 1 million of it really quick and gives the rest to the cartel. Cops come and get it. So everything's, fine except for at the very end, the main two characters have 1 million hidden away, and they're on a boat, and they're going to go to any island they want on a private boat, which 1 million, even in 1993, would not last that long. But the moral of this story ends up being, you can be the biggest piece of shit you want because it's the early 90s, so it's still like Reagan era, and you'll still get your $1 million and get away with it. That's the moral I took away from it.
So what I want to see is Weekend at Bernie's 3 and
Bernie's Revenge.
Bernie's Revenge.
That would be a great horror movie. Weekend at Bernie's 3, Bernie's Revenge.
He's a zombie, but not a voodoo zombie, but a actual I'll eat your brain zombie.
Yes. Well, before we get to our final take of this movie, we're going to take a quick break to watch Rob make this zombie cocktail. Okay? So we'll take a quick break, and and you will watch Rob make this incredibly elaborate drink that has something to do with the movie, I guess.
Well, it turns you into a zombie if you have too many. Interesting fact, at the original Tiki Bar in California, you could only order 2 of these because they didn't want the patrons getting too drunk.
I mean, that's true, but that could be true of any alcoholic beverage if you have too many. But we'll go ahead and we'll cut for that and have Rob, make this drink.
All right, we're here down in the kitchen making the zombie drink for Weekend at Bernie's 2. What I like to do is get some of the stuff pre-made. I get the pineapple juice and the grapefruit juice, 2 ounces of that. So 1 ounce of the grapefruit, 1 ounce of the pineapple juice. What I like to do is add a little bit of maraschino cherry juice into that. Have that ready. We start this off with 1888 rum, a dark rum. You want an ounce of this. Any dark rum that you like. I like this because it smells like a pirate. So go ahead and put an ounce of that in. Light rum, any one of your choice. It's probably on the cheaper side, but hey, whatever you have is what you use. Tells you to add all that other juice and stuff into it, but it doesn't matter. It's all getting mixed anyways. Now you need a 151. That's the kicker. That's the one that's going to turn you into a zombie. An ounce of that. What you're going to do with this is just a slight, just touch. So put your thumb over it. Just get, there we go. That's all you want. And just one slight touch of this to kind of set it over the edge. There we go. And a dash of this grenadine. So go ahead, use a full lime here. Squeeze that whole thing in there. Don't be shy. There we go. Then you're going to have to either have pre-made
for buy. Some simple syrup, half an ounce. You'll add cinnamon and cook it down. Smells like Christmas time. Then you're gonna add your juices in there with half an ounce of lemon juice in there also, and mix that on in there. Put this on top. Shake it profusely. Get all those flavors mixed together. Listen to it bubble. Get your tiki cup of choice, but before you do that, take your lime, smack the bejesus out of it. All over the place. There we go. You can't smack enough. Set that right in there as a garnish. Pour on in. This drink will hit like a mule, but slowly smooth down as you get down to the bottom. Like that. And back to your show.
And we're back. That was a very cool drink that you made, Rob. Now,
I've
getting
got
back,
another one right here.
your camera keeps cutting out a little bit. I don't know why. You're like a still image. It's completely fine, but you know, you're basically a still image of Rob.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
I'm gonna have to, you know, upgrade Rob's internet. You know, that's why we need more subscribers. You need to subscribe so that we can pay to upgrade Rob's internet. You
I am
heard that
back.
part, right?
Yes.
I said we need more subscribers so that we can pay to upgrade Rob's internet. You know, dude's got probably one of the most expensive computers I've ever seen and keeps freezing up because of shitty Avon and Indiana internet. I assume that's what it is.
Probably.
Yeah, or just your old like walls and stuff like messing with your Wi-Fi. But getting to like the end of the movie, like again, like I know that I rated it initially like a 4 out of 5. I'm gonna say on the rewatch, I still love the slapstick. It's not as good as the first again. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, just because it's a shitty plot. It's a cheesy movie. But damned if I still didn't laugh at a dead guy dancing around and wiggling his hips to music. That was still funny as shit. Rob, what was your take rewatching it?
So I'm actually going to rate it higher than the original 2.5 zombies that I gave it originally. I'll give it a 3 because it was basically, I think it was 94 when Friends came out, and basically it's Chandler and Ross, and we've gotten 2 great dances from it. Do the Bernie, which I believe came out like 2014, and we also got the Turned Down for What.
Is Do the Bernie a real thing?
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Know you wanna try this, and I be at the party all day. So clean, can you Bernie lean? Can you Bernie lean? Can you Bernie lean? Can you Bernie lean? Can you?
And also this was basically a over the top music video for a reggae group, Hot and what was it? It was Hot or Cold.
I feel like I'm gonna look up Do the Bernie, and you're gonna be completely full of shit. Like, knowing you, like, it's gonna be something really fucking stupid, or really, really horrible, or you're just making it up. We've had too many zombies, and you're making up a fictitious dance. It's gonna be like that how we all thought that there was a genie movie with Sinbad instead of the one with Shaq. It's that Mandela effect that you're just thinking there was that dance. Well, thank you all for joining. If you enjoy cheesy movies from the 80s and 90s, go out and watch Weekend at Bernie's. Don't bother watching Weekend at Bernie's 2. I mean, it's good, but watch the first one first. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a like and a subscribe, and leave a comment of what movie you'd like us to review next. Thank you all, and bye.